Well, there's one thing common between when I joined and now. I tell people, I had a Gujarati PM then, I have a Gujarati PM now. So that is common. I mean, this is an interview, it's not a therapy session. I mean, they're obviously very different jobs, okay? When you are in a diplomatic profession, you want to do the best you can, and you function in that, with that framework and those rules and that culture. And when you move into a political role, you adjust to that. So if you ask me, has there been an adjustment from being a diplomat to a politician? Of course there has been. I mean, first of all, the circle of people with whom you work are very different. The issues are very different. But if I were to compare the two, I would say, to my benefit, that your world has expanded. That however much, however broad-minded and interested you are, still when you are in a bureaucracy, there is a focus, there is a profession, there is a domain which you are focused on. The difference really between the two is, I am today much more holistic, or the factors which go into my thinking are very much more. I have a much more grounded sense of what is happening in the country, what are the say issue of interest to your paper. I mean, my own understanding of our economic and business policies has definitely improved in the last 5 years when I was a minister, because I hear so much about the economic challenges and the opportunities and the decisions that we make. So there is actually almost, I would say, a kind of an education out there. But there is one common thing I have between both, which is, when you are a diplomat, you deal with a whole set of challenges and often crises and situations. You do the same as a political person, maybe on multiple domains. And the one common thing in both, at the end of the day, to me, is really the quality of leadership. I mean, I've never hid it from people. I've been very open about it. I mean, one of the reasons I joined politics was because I felt that Prime Minister Modi was a once-in-a-lifetime leader, that here is a person with very strong leadership qualities and a big ambition for the country. And for me, that was a very powerful motivator. I've got along very well with some of the previous prime ministers. I didn't know, I saw the others from far away. But I don't think anybody else would have motivated me to join politics, because at the end of the day, to me, the big issue, even for this election, the big issue is we are actually heading for a very difficult world. I mean, just look around you. Ukraine, Gaza, Red Sea, Arabian Sea, our borders, South China Sea, US-China polarization, technology issues, climate change. I mean, there's almost like a storm building out there. And at this time, for us, I think it's absolutely vital that we have a safe, experienced, courageous kind of set of hands on the tiller, because a lot of countries are getting buffeted. I mean, when I look at other countries, I come back and...
You mean political stability?
Political stability and, the strength of leadership, the willingness to take tough calls. No, I had no reason for not contesting or for contesting. I awaited what was the decision of the leadership. And the view in the leadership was that someone like me is best used across the country. So in the last few weeks, I've just come out of Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Mizoram. I'm heading for Orissa, Bengal, Maharashtra and Punjab. So I wouldn't be able to do this if I were focused on a single constituency. So I think, you gave an analogy of cricket. I think everybody in a team has a role. Everybody cannot be the same. So different people will be used for different things. So I was told fairly early on, saying, please travel around, speak about what the government has done, the track record of the government, and that's really what I've been doing.
So you're the power play batsman.
I don't know. Huh?
Or the impact player?
No, I think I'm the slog over, getting a rub. Yeah. I would say one, it has changed in the sense of realism and our own way of thinking about the world and fashioning our demands or requirements. In the sense today, we are very much more clearly focused on what is good for India, what is in India's interest. We are, for us, as you say, Bharat First is in many ways the basic metric by which we look at most situations. This is in contrast to an earlier, I would say, view of foreign policy, where there was a kind of a left-wing liberal belief, that there is a bigger cause out there and that cause is bigger than our national interest. If our national interest has to take second place, so be it. So we are nationalistic, we are proud of being nationalistic, and that is really, I think, a fundamental difference. A subset of that, we are also not vote bank driven. So previously that was very much a consideration. You saw that particularly with respect to Israel. So sometimes people ask me, because there is a very wrong assumption that governments change but foreign policy doesn't change. This is a fraud which is perpetrated by the previous guys saying, please keep our foreign policy because you're not supposed to change it. It will change because a different party with a different vichardhara and a different set of assumptions has come to power with a different set of priorities. So if I were to give you an example, I use typically 4 examples with people. The kind of left-wing reservations that we historically had about dealing with the United States, I think that changed very sharply after 2014. That a lot of our problems with the US, there was a US end of that problem. I'm not saying it wasn't there. But we had a lot of self-imposed constraints and I would say reservations about dealing with the US, which were fundamentally ideological on our part. A second example would be China. That this belief that, on a whole lot of issues we can make common cause, and my friend Jairam Ramesh took it to a philosophical degree with Chindia. Now, actually there's a continuity in the Congress policy. Chindia is the updated form of Panchsheel. The idea is the same behind both, which is that fundamentally we have convergence with China. And therefore, and in many cases that took previous Indian governments to even put Chinese interests ahead of our own. So when it comes to China, actually there's a far more hard-headed policy. When it comes to Pakistan, again, I think the kind of turning the other cheek and living with terrorism, we started this whole session with that issue. That itself is revealing. Today the answer is no, we will not let him dictate the play. that it will not be his issues and he will turn it off and he will turn it on. That if he continues with terrorism, there will be costs and consequences, and a lot of it is not going to be what he expects it to be. And finally, as I said, is prime case of vote bankism. That here is a natural partner, someone with whom we actually have a lot to do, but we were afraid to be seen in public with that country. I mean, it took us till 1992 to establish an embassy and 2017 for an Indian Prime Minister to go there. So, to me, those are one set of examples. The other is there is a much stronger connect today between economic requirements of the country and foreign policy. That when we look at our partners, one big part of our thinking is what is it in that relationship which can help drive economic growth, and how do you therefore make sure that as many options are possible. So there is a direct link between an economic view of foreign policy, a developmental view of foreign policy, and having multiple partners, maximizing our partners. And the third difference, I think, is civilizational, cultural, that we actually have that sense of Bharat, that we are proud of our history, traditions. We today make an effort to ensure that, Indian heritage in the world is recognized and respected, that our cultural traditions and practices are given the kind of space in foreign countries that they deserve. So we are standing up for cultural India, and we think previous governments didn't do that. Yes, I still find that, not always, but I still play regularly. I play squash every morning or evening if I can, mostly mornings. So I kept it up for 50 years now, and I'm still at it. It depends, because you keep moving along. I actually just saw the remake of Shogun, which I don't know if any of you have seen. I'd seen the old one some years ago. So it keeps moving on, depending on where you are at which place.